Hey guys, the announcement has just dropped regarding this skin. If you're unaware, Zilitu is getting a skin, and we've finally seen details not just of what it looks like, we've seen that already, but of what it actually does, and it does provide stats. Before we jump into that, just to cover exactly how it all works, you can only get it at the moment, unfortunately, from the Ultimate Leaderboard. The top 50 commanders will get the Wings of Doom Zilitu skin. Besides that, the top 3 will get a guaranteed Soul Cadence. So the top 50 get the Wings of Doom Zilitu, the top 3 get a guaranteed Soul Cadence. The way the Ultimate Leaderboard works, it's basically just a summoning event, and you get points for summons. The more 5 stars, the more points. The Ultimate Leaderboard is everyone on the server, so you're competing against everyone in the game. And of course, only the whales are going to be at the very top. It's kind of just a foregone conclusion. Typically, they would give like an Ajax or a Legendary Lord for it. Now they're guaranteeing a Soul Cadence who's going to be very newly added to the game. And they're also guaranteeing a very new limited skin. So this is the new Zilitu Wings of Doom skin. And it also provides a very negligible amount of stats. Wings of Doom is only available right now, as you can see here, exclusive skin for the Arrival of Heroes Ultimate Leaderboard, Enigmatic Shadow Season. This kind of infers that we're going to get more of this in future limited skins in events and leaderboards, because they're calling this a season. It's only going to be 50 players, so it'll be the 50 top spenders on the server, and the top 3 will get Soul Cadence. One thing to talk about regarding Soul Cadence, if we go to the notice just quickly, and before we move back to the other topic, Soul Cadence is going to be added, so that's the first, second Legendary Lord for a faction we're seeing on the global server. On Forerunner, there are 2 Legendary Lords for most factions already, and the second lot of the Legendary Lords are only available in the Ancient Summoning. So Soul Cadence, if they follow the pattern, will not be available in default summons. You'll only be able to get him in Ancient Summoning events. They're also adding Fargus, another epic. He's a Chaos Dominion / Star Piercer. He's a marksman. I think he's reasonable, but I never actually got to try him. And they're adding Gazelle. Gazelle is actually a new hero. I don't believe she's on the Forerunner server, or it only just added. So there's not really much wisdom or knowledge we have from Forerunner on her at all. I think some CCs have tested her on the test server and were not super impressed. I've yet to actually give that a go. But from reading her kit, I don't think a great deal of it. Let's talk about the actual how this affects us and what people think about it. So I've seen a lot of discourse on Discord around this topic just this morning. It seems to be split. So I'd like to cover both sides of the argument. I don't like circle jerking. I don't like echo chambers. So let's try and be fair and approach it from both points of view. So there's one point of view, which is the stats are very negligible and will have basically no impact. That side of the argument also suggests that this will eventually be added, so it's no longer entirely exclusive. They believe it will eventually be added to the cash shop in the game, so you can buy it with real money. So that's the main argument I see in favor of it. People will like it because it's somewhat exclusive and because they want to get some bonuses. That's the general gist of the argument in favor of it, is that the stats are just so negligible. The other argument in favor of it is it's only 50 players, and the reality is those 50 players are going to be colossal whales anyway. If you fight them in arena, they're going to absolutely paste you because they're going to have A5 everything in the game. So they're not really going to impact your gameplay. You're not going to meet those players. Like almost everyone viewing this video, is very unlikely you'll encounter these players unless you're also quite a heavy spender, but not that heavy of a spender, because they're going to be taking the top 100 slots in arena almost guaranteed if they're actually playing regularly. So you're unlikely to encounter these 50 players, and if you do, these stats are not really going to make any difference. So this attack bonus of 0.7%, we can be fairly certain this is applied in the gear screen, not on deploy, because nothing about this signifies an on deploy effect, and so it's only 0.7% of her base stats, and her base stats are not a lot. So if we take a look, 0.07% attack, it's really not a lot. So I wanted to go over that just to be fair to it, just so we can try and give it a fair shake of the opinions that people are going to have on this topic. Now we'll go for the arguments against it, and this is personally where I actually sit more. This is where my opinion lies. So I don't like it because it's a precedent, and this is what most people I've seen saying as well. It sets a really bad precedent that you can expect more of this. So there'll be more skins coming to the game in future, and there'll be more stats in the skins coming to the game in future. So no one really cares about the stats from what I've seen. No one cares that, oh look, it's 0.7% attack or it's 12 flat defense. I don't like the precedent that in future we can expect more. And if in future the next skin is 1% or 2% attack, and if this does scale on gear, then it's not that negligible anymore. So I don't like it for the premise. I don't like the idea that we could be inviting more of this. I don't like the fact that it's exclusive. When I first heard there were going to be skins, I assumed it would actually be stats based on what I'd heard from other people. They have another game, MLBB, and apparently that game is full of very low stat skins in the game. It's just all over the game. Apparently it's just full of skins that have very minor stats. So that is another, but kind of an argument for it, in the fact that the company has a track record for doing this and not escalating it, apparently. Okay, so I was about to talk about Mobile Legends Bang Bang. It's the main title for Moonton, the company making Watcher of Realms, because it's an established game that's been out for a while. So I downloaded it and I played it a bunch. This is Mobile Legends Bang Bang. It is mobile discount League of Legends, basically. But it has a bunch of skins in the game, and it has a bunch of mechanisms behind skins. Already I unlocked a skin fragment, which you can use to create a skin. So they have a system for getting skins as a free-to-play, I think. But I've heard from a gentleman in my Discord, Fame, that apparently there are a bunch of skins that free-to-play can never get, like collector skins and event skins. But you can sometimes get some special or elite ones. So they have staggered things. I know it's a bit of a weird tangent to go into in this video, but I think this is probably a good template for what we can expect to see in Watcher of Realms. So yeah, a bunch of the lower skins, and at least in Mobile Legends Bang Bang, are attainable as free to play by playing the game. But obviously this is not the same kind of game as Watcher of Realms. This is a MOBA, basically. As for what the skins actually provide, I don't know enough about this game to tell you if it's a significant bonus or not. This one seems to just give you 8 attack. And then there's an elite and epic skin. So let's have a look. There's an epic skin here. What does this actually give you? This gives 8 magic power. So it doesn't seem to vary based on the quality of the skin. It seems to just be 8 stat. So that's encouraging. If we're worried about stats getting more in the skins in future, Mobile Legends Bang Bang has been around for a while, and it seems like they haven't power crept the stats in this game at least, so that's a sign. Fame in Discord also mentioned that there are time limited collector skins that will come and go. They're not available all the time, but everyone can buy skins, so you can always buy those skins if they do appear in the game. So yeah, that seems to be the way things work at the moment. There's not really much more to go into regarding that in this game. So this one says time limited event, and as we look at it again, it's also 8 physical attack. There doesn't seem to be any difference in the stats. So it sounds like odds are the skin is going to come to the cash shop at some point. They're probably just wailing it out for the sake of getting as much money as they can on the ultimate leaderboard, and then it will probably come to the game at some point afterwards. That's just to give you an idea. I just wanted to go over it because Mobile Legends Bang Bang is their existing title. One thing I have heard about the game, which I think is probably debatable, apparently in the past they have nerfed skins, like the default model of a character, made it worse and then sold a better version of it. So trying to encourage people to buy the skin by making the original base skin look worse. But I mean, you can look that up. There are a bunch of pictures. I'll probably put a picture up on the screen so you can see what I'm on about. I don't know, that seems kind of subjective as to your thoughts on what's better or worse, but I mean, it's something that we might be worth considering if that is the kind of thing that this company does. But I don't know enough about the game to say hard or fast if that's the case or not. Anyway, we'll get back to the rest of the video. So I said I didn't like the premise. We looked at MLBB, and we can see that they do have stats in the game. They do have it on sets, but it seems to be very consistently a very low amount. So there's some evidence to suggest it's not going to be a big problem going forward. They're not going to creep it up. But that doesn't mean they won't. I have a bunch of reservations with this, and honestly, a lot of it for me stems from the fact that this is a gacha game. Gacha games are, in my opinion, the absolute dregs of the gaming community. It's the worst genre of game around. I enjoy them despite their very, very many deep flaws, but it is a very, very flawed genre. The genre exists to take money from people. It's a one-armed bandit. It's a pure casino we're playing. I think we have to make our peace with the fact that we are playing a casino game that is built to manipulate, it is built to exploit, and it is built to take your money. And to be very blunt, that is the purpose of this game. It's just to rob you blind. You deserve what you tolerate, right? If you're playing this game, you have signed up to the casino, you have entered, and as soon as you put any money in this game, you're cashing in chips that you can't cash out. These games are not investments. They are ways to spend money that you're not going to see again. And if you're okay with that, then that's perfectly fine. A lot of people spend a lot of money in these games and don't mind. They're okay with that. I'm not going to tell people how to spend their money, but it is a gambling game. It is a casino game. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about that. For me personally, I don't like that much. And I've tolerated it for a long time because I thought, well, I don't like how insidious the genre is. I don't like how these games treat the communities and the players. I don't like that they prey on addiction. but I do enjoy the gameplay elements. I enjoy the slow progression. I enjoy the randomness, the difference in accounts from one player to another. I like that. I like not having everything and figuring out unique solutions. Over the years, these games have gotten worse. They added skins with stats. They added more pay-to-win events. They added more limited heroes or limited ways of trying to pressure people into spending money. So, I don't know. Ultimately, I don't think on the face of it this changes that bad. It's a skin that offers a very minor amount of stats. I think more as a whole, if this really seriously bothers you, and honestly, I'm falling into this category as well, I think it's worth considering whether gacha is the right genre to be playing as a whole. Not just this game, because it's not just going to be Watcher of Realms. This is becoming normal in many games, and other games that are untouched by it probably just haven't reached a point where they feel like they can get away with implementing something like it. But ultimately, all gacha games, they're designed to make money, right? No one makes a gacha for a passion project. They make a gacha to make money. Otherwise, you'd make an RPG or something else. But anyway, that's a bit of a ramble. I think that's just a reality. I think you've got to make your peace of it being a gacha or not. I think that's the only thing you can do for your own sanity. And for me personally, I can pretty staunchly say this is probably the last gacha I'll ever play. I think once I'm done with Watcher of Realms, I think I'll probably either fold this channel or just move on to covering different things or just not do YouTube at all anymore. But I really don't feel great covering a gacha game. And I don't like where the genre is headed. It already started in very murky beginnings. So I think that's the reality. I think the reality is we're playing a gacha game, we're playing a casino game, and we can't expect things to miraculously get better, especially when people are spending money. You vote with your money. People are clearly spending a lot of money on this stuff. It works. They'll keep doing it. So whether or not this is too much or it isn't for you, I think we can safely say it's going to keep happening. It will get worse, most likely. How much worse? We don't know. Odds are, going by MLBB's example, I think this is probably the worst we'll see. They'll probably stay around 0.7% on attack or HP or defense, whatever the hero cares about. And I don't think it's going to have any real impact on the game. It's a negligible amount of stats. It's just to try to help coerce people into spending money. Those people who like to spend money, but they like, I can't really justify spending 50 quid on a skin or whatever this turns out to be if they do add it into the normal cash shop or skins in future. Having that little bit of extra stat is just another tool to try to convince people to part with their money. That's just the way it works, right? Anyway, my preaching aside, ultimately, I'm not super fond of it, but I think my guttural reaction to these games tends to be negative when it comes to money, so I'm certainly biased against it. But as I've said, I think it's fine if you're okay with this. If you're spending money and you're okay with that and you're happy with it and you're controlled and you have no issues with it, then I don't see there's a problem with it. I think if it's your thing, it's your thing. If it's not your thing, it's absolutely fine as well, and I think there's a good reason to not be okay with it. But I do think we are playing a genre that's the reality that we are in. Anyway, that's it. I think that's all we can really say on the matter. We have the skin in front of us. We can see what it is. We can see what we can expect in future. It does seem like if it follows MLBB's example, there'll be ways to get skins in future, but skins like this are probably going to remain limited forever. They'll probably just add simple skins that also grant stats at some point, but obviously not quite the same game as MLBB, Dota versus Tower Defense Gacha. We'll see what happens. Anything can happen. They've shown us what they're going to do, so believe them, I guess, and see, just do what's okay for you. Everyone's individual. Everyone has their own limits, their own line. But listen to it. Follow what you're okay with and don't do something you're not happy with. Anyway, that's it. Thank you guys. Have a great day. Take care and bye-bye.